Hello YouTube, Real Shooting here, and in today's video I'm going to talk about the top 3 bass fishing techniques for beginners. Now this is my opinion, of course. Other people will probably agree with these techniques, or they're going to have some differences. But when picking 3, I mean there's so many techniques out there. But I'm going to start off with technique number 1. This is a very simple one. The Lipless Crankbait. This is one of the lures that you can fish year round. Through grass, in the cold, or in the heat. You can fish it shallow, you can fish it deep. They will follow these lures and they will bite them. Not all the time, but many times. And it's that sound that draws them in. And these lures, all you need to do is tie them on and you can just do straight retrieves. There are different retrieves. And of course, as you keep on fishing, you'll try different techniques. You can see videos on YouTube, different reels. I like to do the Yoyo Technique. That's another one where you're just casting out there, pulling up with the rod tip, letting the lure sink down, and pulling up again, reeling your slack line over and over. Sometimes they'll bite it on that drop or on the rise. But there's 2 examples. These 2 are the cotton cordell. I'm going to recommend the 1/2 ounce first, because with this lure you're able to cast it farther than that lighter one. It's also a little bit larger, so you're going to have more presentation in the water. A better chance of the fish seeing them. But of course you have to have some of the 1/4 ounce, because you know, a smaller lure is going to get more bites most of the time. So you have a better chance of catching them on the smaller one than on the heavier one. But with the heavier one you're able to cast it much farther. So there's 2 examples. These 2 are cotton cordells. I believe that's a bleeding shad. It's either a bleeding shad or a baby bass. I can't remember the exact name on this one. Is it gonna focus? And then this other one is a crawfish pattern. That's one of my go-tos for sure. And then here's another example. I mainly use cotton cordell and these right here, which I still have in the package. The Rattle Trap. This one, I feel like many people go to these 2. These are like the 2 main ones. Of course there's the Red Eye Shad by KVD. There's the Quake series by 6 Cents. They have the Quake 70s, Quake 80s, Quake Thuds. The Guggen Squad, they have their own lipless. There's a bunch of brands out there, but I feel like the original, this Rattletrap, is one of many people's go-to. And this is a very popular color choice here. That's chrome with blue, with the blue back. This is a 1/4 ounce. Very nice lure. And one thing to note about all the lipless crankbaits is that they all have different rattles. I mean, many of them will be the same, but you have to test them out yourself. Oh, I can't even open this. And you have to hear the differences. Some have less, some have more. And really, when the fish are feeding on, sometimes it's that less sound, sometimes it's more. It depends what the fish want. That's why it's better to have different brands, not just all one brand. And then, of course, different sizes and different color patterns. But this is one of my go-tos. That chrome with blue has caught me so many fish. Every single time I get this lure snagged, I have to go out and buy another one because it really does work. That's a high confidence bait right there. So that's bait number 1, the lipless crankbait. As you can see, I have a bunch of soft plastics here. So I'm going to go over bait number 2. What I recommend is the Ned Rig Lures. So here you can see one of my favorites here, the TRD Cross. That color is Hot Craw. Z-Man makes a lot of really good Ned Rig lures. They have elastic plastic, meaning it's very stretchy, very durable, and it's going to catch you many fish before that lure breaks down, really. But one thing to note about these, which I believe they do say them, yeah, do not store with any other kind of plastic baits. So you never want to mix these with your other soft plastics, because the materials that this is made of will destroy any other soft plastics. You put it in there, it will melt it. It's that elastic chemicals. So always leave them in the original packaging. That's what they recommend, and that's what I like to do because it's easier for you to see the color on there, whatever's working, the size of it. And so that there is Hot Craw, one of my favorites on the Ned Rig. Another one of my favorites is the Yum Craw Poppy. These you can buy real cheap. Those over there, it's about $5 a pack. And how many are in there? It's a 6-pack. Here, I believe it's 8 per pack. It's gonna cost you $3. The Yum lures, very soft lures, but of course, with being so soft, they're gonna break very easily. But I will tell you, even after tearing off these claws, when the bass bite these off, you can still fish this section and you will still get bites. This is one of my favorite colors right here, peanut butter and jelly. So it has brown and purple with black flakes in there. Very nice lure. I wonder if I should leave this one out. I'm going to show a demonstration on the Ned Rig. And then here's another one of my favorites, the Sakushi Bug. Again, this also has the Stretch X plastic. This color here is called Twilight. And the action of this lure is really amazing. It's a very soft lure. Lots of action. As soon as you cast this, I mean, it is falling in the water. With all those appendages, so much action. Even sitting there, it's just moving in the water. 2 different colors on that bait. Very nice. So let me show you guys how to rig this. I brought my terminal tackle box right here on the left side. I'm gonna grab a Ned Rig Hook. I have a couple right here. I'll just get a regular one. Let me get one of these. There you can see a little Ned Rig. That's the Ned Rig Hook. There's different brands, of course. Z-Man is like one of the main ones. This here is a green pumpkin, so it's painted. You don't have to get the painted, you could get the regular black. And really, to rig this up, you just want to have it matched up right here. You want to see where that hook is going to come out of the bait. And try to guess, try to follow. So you're going to push in on the center top. You got to go down. Try to keep it centered. And you're going to come out somewhere about where you guessed it would come out. That actually looks pretty good. Sometimes it's a little offset. You could take it off and fix it, but that's pretty good right there. There you can see that's the Ned Rig. So really what the Ned Rig is when you're fishing these hooks right here that are weighted on the head. And it's mainly smaller lures. I want to say around 3 to 4 inches. Very nice action, and it's just gonna bounce in the water. So that's my second technique for bass fishing, the Ned Rig. Very nice, and there are many lures. These are just a couple of examples. And then the third and final technique, which is why I brought all these out, of course, is gonna be a stick bait. Here you can see some of my favorites, the Yum. I have a black and blue here. Here's a watermelon red, the Dinger. This is a 4-inch. Texas rig, you can also fish with beaver style lures. There's lizards, curly tail worms. There's a bunch of lures you can fish on a Texas rig. And I'm going to show one example with this little 4-inch Yum Dinger. So what the Texas rig consists of, I got my hooks over here. Let me see if I can show this to the camera. These are my, I normally use the round bend offset worm hook. Looks like that. I feel like the 3/0, the 4/0, and the 5/0, that's what I have right here. You can see that, they're labeled. And that's how I'm gonna go across too. Here's the wide bend. Some people prefer to use these. I only bought the 4/0 in those because I mainly use these over here. And I feel like the main go-to is gonna be a 4 or a 3. You wanna use a bigger one for a bigger worm, and a smaller one for a smaller worm. I should probably use the 3 for this little. This is a very small. This is a 4-inch Yum Dinger in watermelon red. And here's the worm weights, of course. You would get whatever weight you want to use. You want to use a smaller one, mostly for smaller lures, or if you want a slower fall rate, or if you're fishing shallow. But some people prefer to fish it weightless. I prefer with the weight, and I use normally this one right here. I believe that's a 3/8 ounce. Very small weight. I have been messing around with the smaller ones though, because that slow fall rate can really trigger the bites for sure. So you do want to try that, but you can always try weightless, of course. And so these, you're going to rig it the same way in the beginning, putting the point of the hook in the top of the lure right here. You're just going to go slowly feeding the worm into that hook. I feel like I might have gone too much already. You just want to go a little bit, come out of there. Yeah, that was way too much. Let me back that out. I believe it's to there. Right before that bend, you want to come out, because this piece here is going to be right here. It's going to obviously cover the line too. That's what I normally do. So it'd be sticking out. Mine's just going to stick out right there because I don't have a line on there. But you would have your line up here and the weight on there, or weightless. And on most lures, you're going to have a little gap in there where the hook can go into. You're just going to push up a little bit, go in there, and then just hide the hook in there. Oh, that looks a little crooked. You can tell that's kind of weird. So you can always back it out, measure it, and go back in. Oh, that is not coming out good. Let me go in a little bit sooner. Oh, that was even worse. It's a little tricky right here. There you go. Pretty much like that. Mine's still a little crooked right there. Pretty much like that. That's the Texas rig weightless. That's like one of the main go-tos. That's what I first started when I first started fishing a long time ago. And this little yum dinger that catches a lot of fish. That's that watermelon red. Either the 4-inch or the 5-inch is what I really recommend. You can always try bigger worms, of course, they work. And like I said, like these culprit curly tail worms, this is a 7.5-inch. You can Texas rig that as well. A whole lot of action. What color is this? That's watermelon candy. Very nice lure. Especially in the summer, you want to use a curly tail worm. It's going to get you a lot of bites. But that's mainly it right there. My top 3 techniques. Texas rig, the Ned Rig, and the Lipless Crankbaits. Hope you enjoyed this video, you guys. Give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Comment, rate, and subscribe.